Like Granddad before me, my mother shall dance. Oh, when will it end? Will I be the last to dance the Huntington's dance? Once you are stricken, you ain't got a chance. You can't run away and you can't make a stand. When will it end? The Huntington's dance. Mother, dear mother, do you feel the pain? As it works its evil, destroying your brain. I helplessly stand and look in your eyes. See thousands of souls who have given their lives just to dance the Huntington's dance. Once you are stricken, you ain't got a chance. You can't run away and you can't make a stand. When will it end? The Huntington's dance.
This film is as much about being independent as it is about a disease. During the Civil War, Virginia was split in two. West Virginia left the Confederacy and joined the Union, not so much to end slavery, but because they believed in self-reliance. They believed in not depending on others. That's the culture I was raised in, to be independent. And to lose your independence is to lose everything. My name is Chris Furbee. I've been working on this film for the last 18 years, ever since I went back home to care for my mother who had Huntington's disease.
I moved out to California in 1984. I love it out here. Hi, Mom. So this is the motion picture department. While I was there, I didn't really talk to my mom much. I would make videotapes for her and periodically send them to her so she could kind of know what's going on with my life. Yeah. I gotta talk to a lot of people though in order to get a few good opinions. I don't have a nose ring yet, Mom. I think I'm gonna.
I was gonna take care of that after work today.
No. I'm originally from two places in West Virginia. Lake Floyd is one, and Philippi is the other. Lake Floyd was a great place to be a kid. There was plenty to do. In the wintertime, the lake would freeze over, so you could ice skate on it. Philippi, to me, means family. A lot of weekends, we would go over to Philippi and everyone would congregate at my grandma and granddad's house. And I'd have tons of cousins, and there was 3 aunts and 1 uncle, and so everyone's kids would be there. It was a place I really liked to go. Basically, the industry is coal around there. I think when I was there was about 3,200 people. I'm sure that probably has gone down. There's not as many jobs as there used to be. One of the reasons I left West Virginia was because I didn't want to be an unemployed coal miner. When I was 5 years old, I remember something was wrong with my granddad, Joe. He didn't look the same as other people. He had movements, arm twitch, leg twitch, head twitch. And I noticed that this was different than other people.
nobody talked about it. You know, Joe had it, but it was just, he had this problem with his movements, and I couldn't imagine what was going on and why it wasn't, if it could be treated or what, you know. And I remember Rosemary and I talking about it, and she said, well, it was something that her grandmother had, that she had been in a rest home or something, some kind of facility in Elkins, and had died there, and that it had affected her mind. And that was the beginning for Rosemary and I to begin to talk about this disease, which I don't know if we even had a name for it at the time.
My mom never really talked about the disease. I don't really remember too many people really even, talking about it in my family. But my mom was definitely, in denial. She would not speak of it at all. I'm going to go see my mom tomorrow. And it's a really hard thing for me to deal with. Part of the reason that I walked away or ran away from home. I just couldn't deal with it too well. Seeing my mom deteriorate. I think about myself as possibly having it. It being Huntington's, I should just say it. It's one of those things that I'm kind of afraid to say, Huntington's. It's easier to refer to it as it, I guess. I hadn't had any visual contact with her in 5 years. All I had was a photo that my uncle had taken over and had sent out. And I got to the house, I was hesitant, walking up on the porch. I didn't want to go in at first. I just kind of wanted to back off. But I knew I had to go in. And I remember opening that screen door and walking into the living room. And there was this person lying on the couch. It didn't look like she was breathing at first. And I didn't know who it was. I thought it was my aunt at first. I was looking at it. She looked all pale and extremely thin, and I thought she was dead at first. And then I realized that she was breathing. And that's where I kind of thought that might be my mom, but I was hoping that it was my aunt who has Huntington's. And so I walked past that into the kitchen, hoping to see my mom sitting in the kitchen. And there was no one else there. I kind of knew it sunk in at that point that that person on the couch was my mom. And so I turned back into the living room and I just stared at her. I couldn't believe it, because my memories of my mom she's so beautiful. And that's what I want to keep in my head. But when I saw her there, I just knew. I just knew it was her. She opened her eyes, and I could see the eyes were her. She was happy to see me, but I couldn't deal with it very well.
We're developing vehicles that are gentler on the gas pump and the environment. Like this car with its 100% recyclable body. It's simply a reflection of our thinking. Quality is job one. When I have diarrhea, I could use some comforting.
Huge convention coming up. I've gone every year heavy, and I've been heavy all my life, and I wanted to take off the weight and go with that.
What?
I like you like the tangles in my hair.
Oh, you don't like the tangles in your hair? Nah, I don't either. It's easy to get with my hair, too. When was the last time you had your hair cut? Long time? Having Kathy come down and give it a cut sometime.
I can't.
Huh?
I'm looking for the comb.
You were looking for the comb? I'm sorry, what was that? Scissors? Why, so you can cut your hair? Might be best to let someone else do that for you. You got some places that are kind of hard to get to.
When I came in 2 days ago, I didn't understand her the first day at all. It was really hard. Now it's kind of hit and miss. Part of me, I understand part of what she says, and part of me just doesn't know what she's saying. I try and listen and try and pick out words. It's just kind of hard. Another thing that I've realized since I came in, I don't think she can take care of herself anymore. I walked in the house and it was a complete mess. I spent about 7 hours cleaning the kitchen. I did the bathroom. I cleaned up the living room. There was cigarette ash she smokes, and there were cigarette burns all over the carpet because she can't hold on to a cigarette. She keeps dropping the cigarette. It just makes me realize that she does need full-time help. I just did all that stuff a couple of days ago, and already the kitchen's turning into a mess. It makes me realize that I'm going to have to do something. It's hard for her to clean up things because it's not like you and me. We can't just reach down and grab a rag and start wiping and clean it up. She has to like try and grab it, and then she drops it a bunch of times, and then she has to try and put her hand down on the right spot and rub without falling over, and it's just real hard for it. Yeah, smoke. All this talk about my mom has got me all upset. I know I shouldn't smoke. maybe one day I'll quit. I just haven't found a good enough reason to, you know. I mean, especially seeing my mom the way she is. I enjoy smoking. Why should I give it up for my health? If I'm going to end up, if I'm going to end up like her, I might as well do the things I enjoy now. I've taken this garage space here at my mom's house and converted it into my little studio, kind of. There were floods here. My mom had stored all her things in this room. All these records are ruined. My mom pretty much saved a lot of things. This is an old encyclopedia. Can't even open the pages. She ended up losing everything she owned. She kept a lot of the things that connected her with me, seeing how I was so far away, and they all got destroyed, except for maybe a few photos. I think when I was about 8 years old is when I started kind of being a little more curious about what was going on. And I ended up talking to my dad about this. And he said that the onset is at about 40 years of age, and that my mother could get the disease from her dad. And if she gets it, then there's that possibility that I can inherit it from her.
At some point, she was able to tell me, when you talk about this illness, it feels like you're stabbing me in the back. And I never want to have that. And if I ever did have that disease, I would kill myself. And when she told me that, it like closed the door for me. I couldn't bring that up again. But still, for me, I'm going, I got to understand this. So I started finding out about it and found out it was called Huntington's disease. I think it was the first time I'd felt this distance between us that I don't think ever got repaired, really. And we never really had any more conversations about having children.
My mom, basically, she did not want to talk about Huntington's at all. She put up a barrier between them about that, and just she could be very stubborn. So ultimately, they just never had another child. And I think that was probably the beginning of the end of their marriage. A few years later, my grandfather started getting worse. His Huntington's got to a point where he couldn't take care of himself. He eventually died from Huntington's, and I can remember going into the hospital and looking at him and realizing that his movements were gone and his long battle with Huntington's was over. He was finally at peace. I knew at that point that my mom was sick with Huntington's. All the symptoms were there. The same types of things that I saw in my granddad. I just couldn't deal with Huntington's disease anymore. So as soon as I graduated from high school, I ran away from my home. I ran away from West Virginia, and I ran away from Huntington's disease. Find it hard to deal with when I started thinking about putting my mom in a home. You know, I mean, she's only 54 years old. She doesn't think anything's wrong with her. It's just really hard, you know, and I'm only 28 right now. You know, I mean, you think about putting your mom in a home, you know, you think, you know, I should be like her age, 54, and be thinking about that, you know, coming to terms with, you know, your parents' physical condition and physical well-being. And I never thought I'd come to, I never thought that I would have to be making this decision. I guess in the back of my mind, I knew the day would come. But being out California 3,000 miles away, I separated myself from it, because I wasn't having to deal with it. You know, I figured someone else would do it. But I've changed so much over the years that right now I feel I should take responsibility, and it's not like I want to do this. But I need to be around her more. I don't know if I'm really going to get a chance to know her that well. That was one of the things I was hoping for. I get to know my mom, but if I can't understand her, it's kind of hard to know more about her. But just being around her seems to make her feel good. And I know I certainly feel better than I did before I left on this trip. Today's Mother's Day, and it hasn't started out to be a happy one. I had it all planned, you know. I went shopping yesterday and bought my mom some paints. So I decided, you know, that I'd give her Mother's Day present. But things kind of changed. I was having my morning coffee, and I started smelling something. That's when I started noticing smoke coming in from the kitchen. It was the skillet. She just left the burner on, and it started smoking, and it filled up the whole house with smoke. So I had to open up all the doors and the windows. And maybe 30, 40 minutes later, and all of a sudden I hear this beeping going off. I run in there, and it's filled up with smoke again. 2 times within 30, 40 minute span. That's ridiculous. Here, move. You did it again. You left the burner on again. So I had to take off all but one of the knobs for the burners. She just kind of laughed it off, like it was no big deal. I mean, that just bothers me. You know, it didn't faze her. She doesn't see the seriousness of it all. When she had talked to me before about suicide, my grandmother had just died. My grandmother had taken care of her. She missed her, her mom. She felt like she was all alone, and that it hurt too much. And she had come out and said that she wanted to kill herself. I couldn't come up with one reason for her not to. I couldn't think of a reason. She just kind of looked at me. If I was in her shoes, I'd probably want to do the same thing. I don't know if she was hoping I would say something else. Like, no, don't do that. But the words couldn't come into my mouth. So I'm not looking forward to having that conversation again. So I did good on your Mother's Day?
Yes, you did.
All right.
I need the place to take me.
I don't know if you want to be up high or just put it down on the ground, but we can find someplace.
My mom's always been a painter, as far as I can remember. She ended up getting a scholarship to D&E College in West Virginia to study art, which she was excited about. Of course, once I came along, all those plans got put on hold. However, she always continued to do her artwork. She continued to paint. And I always thought that she was an incredible artist. And the fact that she would still struggle to paint while she was sick was amazing to me. That she did not let that disease take that one thing that she enjoyed so much away from her.
Painting is one of those things that helps lift her spirits. I was sitting there watching her paint, and so many emotions went through me at that time. I was happy. I mean, that was great to see her painting. It's also very sad, watching her struggle to pick up the paintbrush. I got angry too, because there's nothing I can do. All these emotions, I wrapped up in the same thing, but I was so proud too, seeing her do that, because she's always been a really great artist. And I just wish that there was some way I could give her my arm, when she wanted to paint. So she could reach down and grab a paintbrush and paint the strokes. I just, I watch her and my heart just breaks, seeing that.
I've been avoiding this moment for some time. I know I need to confront my mom about her situation.
Wanted to talk to you. Okay? I'm probably gonna be going back to California in about a month.
Man.
Yeah. And while I'm gone, I kind of, I'm gonna be a little concerned. I'd like to, have someone come in, maybe just clean, do stuff like that, a couple of hours a day or something.
To do myself.
I'm sorry, I didn't get any of that.
To do it myself.
Do what yourself? The house cleaning yourself? Well, you know what else concerns me, Mom? Is that Sunday, 2 times you left the burners on.
That you have.
You see, that's what I mean. You weren't paying attention. And I know it's not the first time you've done that, because those burners are always left on. And that time, the whole house was filled up with smoke. And it happened twice, within 30 minutes.
Because together.
Have what together?
Myself.
You're gonna have yourself together? You know, I'm afraid that you're gonna burn the house down. And you're gonna be in it and you're gonna burn up, you know, and I don't. Huh?
I didn't think that would happen.
You didn't think that that would happen? Well, you know, all it takes is something to fall on it. I know that I've been looking at the dish rags, some of those dish rags and things, they've got burns on them. You know? And you know, you're always putting your cigarettes on the carpet. I'm concerned about a lot of things, and this is going to be the easiest way to deal with it.
Okay.
You would be for me to make sure that, you know, just someone would come in, you know, a couple of hours a day. You know, just clean up. You don't have to deal with that. You know, do your shopping if it needs to be done. Just do what I've been doing is all. Yeah, someone just be doing what I've been doing. Huh?
That's a big.
I think in order for me to leave with a good conscience, yeah, this is going to be a good thing. It's going to work out for you, and it's going to work out for me. And I want you to be happy. And I want to be happy. And I want everyone involved to be happy. So you're okay with that?
Yeah.
And okay. And I'm going to talk to them tomorrow. And just start getting it set up. Give me a hug, Mom. Don't fall over on me. Sit up. Yeah, I was watching you paint.
Oh.
It made me real happy to see you doing that. I'm glad I got you that stuff. So you can paint.
I did.
Well, I can say that it went a lot better than I had expected with my mom. I predicted the worst outcome, that she wouldn't go for any care at all. And it was really not, it was really satisfying, I guess, needless to say, that she's accepting someone coming in. She doesn't have to admit anything, like she has Huntington's. Okay, well, it looks like my mom pulled off the coup d'etat. Today is the day that I scheduled for David from the Appalachian Center to come over. And all of a sudden, she doesn't want anyone coming in. I'm pissed off. I don't know what to do. You know, I was talking to her. I said, look, there's a guy coming in. And she's like, well, I don't want anyone. And I pointed out that we had this discussion only a few days ago, that I was going to have, you know, get someone to come in. And
she said she didn't want that. She wants to move because she doesn't want to be here anymore, so she's going to move. So, you know, she was saying some bullshit about, you know, suicide and stuff, and believe me, this is not the first time she's ever mentioned that when she gets depressed. So it's just an attention getter as far as I'm concerned. And I was going to tell her to her face, I was going to look, you have Huntington's, okay? Just admit it. Just look at yourself. You have Huntington's. This is ridiculous. You're putting me through hell. I'm trying to help you, and you are not going to help. You're not letting me help you at all, and this has gone too far. And if you do not let someone come in for 3 days a week, then I'm going to be forced to do something drastic, like put you in a nursing home. I was going to say that, but she got up and she went into her room and laid down, and I know she was probably crying. And as soon as I'd said that, I started hurting. It started, you know, making me sad. But I'm pissed. I am at my rope's end. I don't know what to do. You okay?
I put one in the
Mom.
my bee.
Yeah, you're bleeding. Let me get something to clean that up with. Shit. Here.
Like,
How many fingers?
I'll make it out. And I feel dizzy, I do.
How many fingers am I holding up?
Oh, two.
2? Okay. Just gave you a conk on the head. You don't feel weird or anything, do you? Okay. See, this is another good reason why I want someone to come in.
Well, I hope I won't do that.
Well, what would have happened?
No,
What would have happened if I wasn't here? No one was here. If I start turning into what has happened to her, I know exactly. Fuck. This is bullshit, man. This whole thing's just bullshit. What are you supposed to do, huh? What are you supposed to do? There's no answers. I'm waiting for a fucking answer to like fall down and hit me on the head from the sky. And it ain't gonna happen. Much as I want it to. I'm really pissed and frustrated. And I'm at my breaking point. I haven't been able to get out of here. It's driving me nuts. I need to get away. It's not something that I want to have happen to me. I don't want to have people taking care of me. I just need to get the most out of my life right now as I possibly can. I'm going to be 29 years old in 2 days. And I'm looking at it and I'm going, 11 more years. Since I'm planning on being tested for Huntington's, you know, I need to prepare myself for the results. What's this going to do to my life? You know, how much is it going to affect me? How much is it going to change me? It's a hard thing, you know, go in there and get the genetic test done. And it's not necessarily going to happen, okay? I might not get it, or I might get it. It might be later on in my life. I could get it when I'm 40, 50, 60, 80.
I don't know if I will. But I've always put a limit to my life at 40. There's no old Chris. I don't think of that. If one parent has the gene for Huntington's disease, every child that they have has a 50-50 chance of inheriting the disease from them. If both parents have the gene for the disease, the percentage goes up to 75%. There's not a lot known about Huntington's disease at this point. However, it is the first disease where you can actually go down and get a test to see if you have inherited the gene from your parent. After spending 2 months with my mom in West Virginia, it kind of got me to think about my own future. What is it that I want? Am I going to go for a career, family? Or do I just spend more time just doing the things that I want to do in life? And I needed to know. I was kind of in a place where I was stuck. I couldn't move forward with my life, and ultimately I needed to know.
My mom had lots of family in town, but over time, she alienated them all by refusing their help. It bothered her to have to rely on anyone, to not have her independence. I can't tell if it's the disease making her distrust everyone but me, or does she just want to be alone? Either way, it's made me feel very lonely.
We gotta talk, okay? I'm leaving tomorrow, and we have to work this out. Do you understand that I need to have someone come in here?
Yeah.
You do. Well, now that you understand, will you let me?
Yeah.
You cannot back out of this, okay? You cannot back out of this at all. You cannot change your mind.
My life is confusing.
Life's confusing? Yes, it is. It's very confusing. You brought some of this on yourself, Mom. I wish I could make her understand why I had to do this, you know. Just reach down with the hand of God and just kind of make everything clear. But it doesn't work that way. I almost feel like I've condemned her to death.
I left the house, and I remember I'm walking over to get into my Aunt Linda's car, and I remember crying for the first time in like months. I don't think I cried the entire time I was there, but I had up all this built up emotion, and that was just, just poured out of me.
When I left West Virginia, it was 2 weeks before the state worker could come to see her and begin her care. The minute they saw the condition of the house, they panicked, called the police and an ambulance, and pulled my mom from the house that same day. Against her will, she was placed into a state-run, long-term facility. I was mad at the way the state employee did this to my mom.
I knew that my mom needed some care. Who wants to tell their mom that they're going to put them in a nursing home? I mean, there are people out there who will just put people in nursing homes for alternative reasons. You know, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to keep her as independent as possible. I mean, I love my mom. You know, my mom's an independent person.
At this point, all I could do now was to start thinking about my future. To find out once and for all, do I have Huntington's?
Okay, good. Now walk on the outside of your feet like that. In a straight line, or just like this, just on that side of your feet. Okay, good. And just stand there. Stand with your feet together. Can you spell the word world for me?
W-O-R-L-D.
Okay, can you spell it backwards?
D-L-R-O-W.
Okay, good.
Not very good at spelling, so
That's fine.
if I screw up, then
That's fine. Okay, with your right hand, go like that, fast as you can. Your left hand, fast as you can. Okay.
okay.
Okay, that's good. Just let your legs be relaxed. I'm just going to move them around. Okay, just let them be real loose. That's it. Your exam is normal. I don't find any of the. What I do is I look for the 8 or 10 earliest signs of Huntington's disease.
What are they?
They have to do with the eye movements, the way the tongue works, the muscle tone, the coordination, certain patterns of walking that in early Huntington's can be abnormal, and I'm not finding any. So it doesn't mean you don't have the abnormal gene. You're at a 50-50% chance still. But it just means that if you do have the abnormal gene, we're not seeing signs of it in your nervous system at this point.
It's not starting to develop at this point.
In terms of what we can detect on our exam. Okay. So that's where you're at right now. Okay.
After having all my physical symptoms checked, all that was left is to take a blood test and examine my DNA.
In our system,
They said I would be assigned a genetics counselor who will explain the test and what to expect.
But there are some pictures that I think you'll be able to realize that it's quite, the test itself is quite reliable, and there's not a whole lot of room for error. The number of repeats that confirms the presence of the gene for Huntington's is anything 40 or above repeats. Anything 30 or below, we know is okay. We have 2 chromosomes, one from our mom, one from our dad, that instruct how we grow and develop for each trait. A lot of people come in with this kind of visual image of like something growing inside of them, like a tumor or something. It's not that way. Whatever is there has been there since the moment of conception. If we find that the gene is present, it will not tell us the exact age of onset. It will not tell us the course, the severity of your course. Those things are more consistent with just looking at how it's worked in your family. With a mom affected, the offspring, the child, would likely have a similar age of onset to the mom. Does it scare you?
Well, I feel I need I mean, right now I just have to know, and I felt that I needed to know for a while. My life's just kind of in neutral right now. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, I'm not going to go out and kill myself just because I know I have it. You know, I mean, I'm going to I'm going to enjoy as much of it as possible. Yeah, if I'm going to have 10 good years, then, you know, why should I get depressed about it now? At least I have an idea. At least I know. I mean, I'm going to, if I find out I have it, I'm going to be, you know, sad and depressed for a while, but at least I will know.
I think that mainly the things that I feel about it is that he's just super courageous, super courageous for just, you know, having the courage to come and just say, you know what, I need to get my life. I need a life, you know. So, because when he finds out whether he's got this or not, it's going to change his life. For the better or for the worse, whatever. And I don't know where he's going to fly off to. You know, I don't know where he's going after that.
After you do the testing, there's a long 2-week wait. Seems like an eternity. The emotions that you go through are just a roller coaster. Going from happy to sad, euphoric, crying. I know what this disease does. I know all too well, yeah. I was very much afraid of what will happen once I find out if I have this disease or not. I hate this waiting.
There was the hope that you would test negative for it. And that was the thing that I would keep consciously bringing myself to, that this could be a good thing. And at the same time, in the background, is the fear that you would test positive.
I got my band, I got the X-Men band.
Got an X-Men.
Hello, today I was tested for the HD gene. The long 2-week wait will be tough. On Thursday, April 25th, my life will change. I would like to offer myself up for any questions anyone might have regarding the testing process or what is going on with me emotionally. For 2 weeks leading up to the 25th, I'll try and answer any questions honestly. I've been having to talk so much about HD to my friends and interested parties that I feel I'd get the most out of this experience by sharing it with anyone with a question. Please email me or post a response. Thanks.
Excellent shot by the Furb, ladies and gentlemen. Cameraman, golfer, professional.
As we talked about last time, let me first tell you what Dr. Longo had to say. I always think it's interesting to have a neurologist describe you. No drift, full strength, no abnormal movements. Coordination testing was normal, deep tendon reflexes were symmetric, plantar responses were flexor bilaterally, which is normal, and on coordination testing, finger to nose, heel to knee to shin were all normal. Sensory exam was normal, your walking gait was normal, and your tandem gait was normal. Tandem gait is when you do this one foot in front of the other. So he said, normal neurological exam without evidence of Huntington disease. And then he will go on for DNA testing. So Chris, that tells you that Dr. Longo saw no evidence of Huntington disease. Okay. On the DNA test, remember I told you that it basically comes down to numbers. We look at the numbers of repeats. And when we look at your chromosome 4, there is the expansion is present. One of the genes has 43 repeats. Okay? So this tells us that the gene is there, but the exam tells us that you are fine.
I'll let this disease kick me around for another 2 weeks. But then after that, I'm taking my life back. It's been 2 years since I filmed myself. I needed a break from filming so I could get on with my life. I have a new girlfriend now, Stacy. I really had no idea how HD would start to affect my personal relationships.
I met Chris Furbee 9 years ago. He's good friends with a good friend of mine who I rode horses with.
Did you get that one, Bill?
Uh-huh.
Of course you did. Think he's gonna be okay?
Oh, heck yeah.
You don't think he's gonna jump out of here, do you? Then he could jump out of here, no problem.
She kind of had an idea that she might want to hook us up a little bit, so she was playing Cupid there.
So I remember meeting her and just thinking, you know, how beautiful she was. I wasn't very smooth, but I basically asked her out. I was like, you know, would you like to get together?
I was 8 months pregnant. I was about to have a baby when I first met him, and we actually didn't start to officially date until my daughter Madeline was 5 weeks old.
She's like, you know I have a baby, right? I'm like, yeah. She's like, you know this little thing's mine, right? I'm like, yeah, I know that. And she's like, you want to go out with me? I'm like, yeah.
I didn't know what to do, and so I went in with just dipping my toe into the pool just to see what would happen.
Is Maddie happy right now, Furbee?
She's always happy when she's with me, see? See? You can see how happy she is? She's smiling, see? You have to trust me. Yeah. She always smiles.
We started to date soon after that.
Okay, well then there's a red button right there.
Yeah.
Stacy knew from the beginning of our relationship that Huntington's is in my family. I'm going to get it one of these days. So it wasn't like there was anything that she didn't know.
On our first date, Ferb announced to me about Huntington's disease. You know, pretty much within the first hour, I got about a 45-minute speech on the disease and what it is and what it's going to do. And the next morning, I Googled Huntington's disease. The very first sentence said, Huntington's disease is the most demonic of any disease. And I went, wow, well, that's a way to start. Oh, it's horrible. I mean, it's horrible. I mean, you know, It's a horrible thing and there's not much help, was basically what my opinion was. It's one thing to be ravaged with cancer, but at least you have treatment options. At least there's doctors, for the most part, able to do something for you, whereas this disease was pretty much, in that reading I did that day, was pretty much, well, you've got it and we can't really help you.
For her, she was totally into accepting me and wanting to be in a relationship with me.
My first response was, I might not even know you in 6 months. So why should I be so concerned right this minute about what this disease means to me and our relationship? Why don't I just see if we have a relationship past 6 months and then I'll deal with it? And then what happened was, of course, we did have a relationship past 6 months, and when it was time to sort of really think about what the future was like, well, I was in love, so it didn't matter anymore. But I think that Ferb ultimately had a problem with me living with it when the onset and the disease started to take hold. And that was always a challenge in our relationship, and it's ultimately what ended our relationship.
I would have to say that all of my relationships have been, to some degree, a casualty of Huntington's disease. I didn't want her and Madeline to have to see me get sick.
Even though he's so upfront about it and says, hey, this is exactly what it is and this is exactly what's going on, I think when he gets to a certain level with people, he's afraid that people are going to get hurt. And he's afraid that people are going to feel pain and that people are going to be, somewhat damaged emotionally. He's not willing to let people experience that.
I have a hard time letting people in about that, and I don't want them to get hurt. I don't want them to have to see what I've seen.
And my joke to him now is, well, you haven't really saved me anything because I'm still helping you through the disease. It's just now, we don't have sex anymore. So,
I'm not saving her from anything. She's still there. We're not together, but she's my best friend. And I totally love and respect her enough to keep her in my life,
I'm an adult and I can make my own decisions, and you have to allow me to make my own decisions, and you can't tell people who they can and can't love.
It took me years to realize it, but by recording my feelings about Huntington's to help me cope, it has started me on a path of bringing awareness about the disease and has given my life new meaning.
You have fun?
Welcome to the 4th annual Team Hope Walk for Huntington's disease. We could not do it without you. You are a bunch of beautiful walkers.
Hey, Chris. Hey.
I've begun to go to support groups to help me cope with my feelings. It's one of the only places where I can go and talk to people about Huntington's and not have to explain anything to them.
Well, I figured I'd start out just telling you a little bit about myself.
I speak at University of California, San Francisco every year. I speak at Stanford every year. For me, it's been a great thing to find out that I've been that I have the disease, because it's given me direction.
My mother is 57, and I was forced to put her in a nursing home about 3 years ago.
Who would have thought that this boy from Furbee, West Virginia, who barely graduated high school, would be speaking to doctors at UCSF and Stanford? That means a lot to me, that I'm making this kind of a difference to the future doctors who may find either a cure or will be treating someone with a disease. I feel that I can actually help people.
I went back in September
for about 4 days. And I was going to do some more shooting, but my mom is just way worse. Her symptoms have progressed. And I just couldn't, shoot any more footage because I didn't want anyone to see her in the condition that she was in.
I couldn't do any taping. My mom has gotten worse. Mentally, she's not really even there. Sometimes she's like a record that's just like stuck, keeps repeating the same things over and over. She's frightened and she's angry and she is not happy. The connection is not there anymore. She will die. And I will have my memories of my mom. That can never be taken away from me. But that person who's there, she is affected by a disease and no longer resembles my mom. I don't know. I've got a lot of soul searching to do. It just scared the shit out of me. Just knowing that my possible fate is right there. Looking at my mom in a mirror.
I remember getting a call from the folks at the nursing home where Mom was, and it's a phone call that I'd been expecting for a long time, but wasn't ready to hear. I was there for 4 days. It was hard to be there with her, because she looked so horrible. Her skin was all purple. Her joints were all swollen. She just was like nothing, skin and bones. That person there was my mom, and it was just so scary and frightening. I couldn't understand what she was saying. At one point, it took me like 45 minutes just to realize that she was hurting, and that hurt me. I don't want my mom to be in pain. I did everything I could to let her know that I was there, She was there for me. My first day when I was brought into this world, and I wanted to be there on her last day. I told her, I said, Mom, you gotta go, it's okay. You don't need to be here anymore. I love you. Kept saying that. I wanted her to know that I loved her. And that, I'd be okay. I'd be fine. And then I noticed she's not breathing. And I already know that this is going to happen. But I start, something's wrong with Mom. Something's wrong with my mom. Get the nurses. I knew she had died.
I think it's beautiful. I think that this is exactly the kind of place that Rosemary would have chosen for this to happen. There was a hawk that was sailing up there when we sat down and had a little meditation before we did it, and I was just thinking, I wonder if that's her. I think it's perfect. Feel good about it.
I tried to keep you here with me, tried to make you whole again, and now I weep and cry for you. At night I call your name, but rest in peace where you have gone, and give me strength to carry on. your laughter in this mountain stream. I need you in my dreams. I need you in my dreams.
It had been a couple of years after Mom died that before I just started to, shoot any more footage. I needed a break from the film, needed a break from Huntington's disease. I was in my own, denial. Just didn't want to talk about it or deal with Huntington's for a little while. I drive up to Canada every year. This past summer, I'd made a stop at my friends Dave and Sabine's house. And my friend Sabine wants me to videotape her on her horse.
Are you going?
Yeah, I haven't stopped.
Okay, good. Good boy.
Ultimately, Sabine gets bucked off the horse.
Oh, yeah!
And when I see that, I turn off, I think I turn off the camera, and I run down to go help her. Horse is running around. That whole ordeal goes on for at least another 5 minutes. And then, basically I come back to the camera. Of course, we have to go watch this now because we know Sabine's okay. While I'm watching the tape, I realize, I'm looking at something, I'm realizing my left arm is doing all these movements. And I'm going, what the hell? And everyone else is concentrating on the other thing, and I'm just going, what the hell is that? And it basically unsettled me at that point. So I went to my support group where my genetics counselor is, and all these people who know Huntington's. I'm I want everyone here to, that's what I said, I want everyone in this room to be completely honest with me. Don't sugarcoat anything. Do I have symptoms? And everyone who was there said that, yes, I had symptoms.
Since I found out I'm symptomatic, I haven't been doing very well.
I know how this disease works, I had a pretty good understanding of it when I was 8 years old. And, like I said, I've seen this disease destroy my family and my friends, and I know exactly what the symptoms have already started.
I'm certain that I don't need the thing that I yearn for in the dark of night.
I'm more of a realist because I know that I will get this disease. I know that the chances are good I'm probably gonna die of this disease. And having to live with that is a hard thing. And sometimes I don't feel like I want to live with it. The choices are, you can live with this disease. And then the other way is, to take, suicide. Take that route. I'll be honest with you here. I have not ruled out the possibility of just, committing suicide.
Well, that bothers me. That's on my mind. That just, I've been taking deep breaths with that one for a long time. I see what you're talking about in terms of having a choice about the way you die. There's got to be some way to approach this with some dignity intact. It affects everybody that's left in a profound and heavy way. And I think a person's death needs to be celebrated. dying process. There needs to be that embracing the person's life, and I would want that for you, because you know we're not alone in this world. You affect so many people. You have and do and will continue to impact so many people. That's been part of your life's journey, is to impact people around Huntington's. And you've done that at so many levels. And outside of Huntington's, your impact on people is quite special.
The chances are it's some.
Door exchanging, no extra charge. Here's your new. What's your mailbox? You what?
Finally here. You left me on the airplane all by myself.
You order movies on.
You don't know when you're going to be in my shoes.
Tell anybody because it could get us both in trouble. So officially, we had sex.
Hey. Hi. Where's Daryl?
In the office.
Okay. Sir. They're fighting really hard. They've given us.
Where's she?
I was thinking maybe we could pack up you.
Apples and cinnamon. Maple sugar.
It's easier to get the rewards you want. Call 888-551.
See it? Right now. Actually, let's take it. Now it's fucking ready, okay? I'm not fucking around now. I don't want to live with this fucking disease. I understand Carol Carr and why she did it. Why she didn't let her sons suffer. Why she got tired of seeing it. I understand that. I'm scared. I don't want to fucking pull that trigger. But there's a part of me that does. You think I end up like my mom?
Obviously, I didn't blow my head off. That was pretty damn close, though. I haven't come that close in a while. And, you know, in a weird way, it's been a good thing for me, because I did change my eating habits. You know, I've lost 25 pounds. I'm working out like almost every day, trying to get out and, you know, have fun, you know, and, you know, making sure I get all my, you know, taking all my supplements.
They're doing all sorts of studies with different things that I like. I take creatine as well. I take CoQ10, Earth Source CoQ10, 400 milligrams. Take that 3 times a day. My odorless fish oil and flaxseed oil. I know there's not a cure for Huntington's right now, but I want to try anything these days to see if it keeps me healthy.
Helpful with my depression. We won't say the name because, you know, pharmacies are not going to give us any money. If they would give us some money, then I'd move my mouth like that and we'd just fill in the name.
I cut back on, you know, my alcohol consumption extremely, you know, I mean, completely different. So, you know, it's, it was a good thing for me.
I know that there was definitely some concern coming down here, you know, how I would look and, you know, what my attitude would be, and, you know, I think, you know, you can see that I'm
not, giving in to this disease and continuing to fight it and
continue to live your life.
Live my
Continue
life.
to live your life and embrace your life. Yeah.
For the last 6 years, I've worked as a house manager. I take care of 8 mentally ill adults. I work a 52-hour shift, and I take care of all of their needs. My job here is to make sure that they get fed, take their meds, get to doctor's appointments. I act as a counselor. Also, I'm responsible for like their, daily living skills. Intense job, but when I'm done with the job, I definitely feel like I've actually done something. I'm helping out people. They can't be too clean. I haven't got that kind of fulfillment in any other jobs that I've done.
You going to go for a walk?
But now I've come to a point in my life where I want to help people, specifically with Huntington's disease. So I got this idea to build an assisted living facility here in California. Put on more drag. A facility where patients of all ages can come and have their own place. They can get psychiatric treatment, they can get physical therapy, they'll be able to have speech therapy, nutritional support, and a place where families of the patients can get support too, because they're going to need it. All the types of services my mother needed but wasn't available for her. The care facility kind of brings everything full circle. When I was younger, I didn't want to have anything to do with this disease. I did everything I could to run away from it, and I was in my own world of denial out here in California, thousands of miles away from my mom. But now I've kind of realized that I can actually help people with this. People who have been in my situation, so that they can hopefully not have to go through what I did with my mom.
Thank you all for coming out. This is a great day for me. I'm 40 years old today. Usually I don't like celebrating my birthday, but this time I was like, you know what? Feeling healthy, might as well just enjoy it and celebrate it. So
there's a fundraiser that I put on every year. It's called Furbee on the Green. The money that we raise goes towards the film that I've been working on all these years, as well as to help finding a cure for Huntington's disease. My band Dick Food plays. We have silent auction tents for people to bid on stuff. It's a great day at the park, and in the future I hope to use it to have money for the nursing home that I plan to do. Also, because I have Huntington's, I've been recognized several times for my work fighting the disease. Things are going great for me this year. I turned 42, got a lovely girlfriend over there, and this is my second award in like 4 months. So, doing this, talking to people about it is kind of what I'm all about. So, I'm very honored to be given this award. Thank you very much. For me, getting these awards was really cool. It meant something to me because I knew that I was being appreciated by the community that I'm trying to help, as well as me feeling like I'm actually reaching out to people and making a connection. I want my legacy to be that I was trying to do the best that I could to educate people as to what Huntington's disease is. I also want my Furbee on the Green to continue and to get bigger over the years. I also want the Huntington's Dance Facility to help people with Huntington's disease so that they can have a place where they can go and live and be respected as individuals and know that they're going to get the best care that they can. My mom is someone who was very independent, and I feel I have a lot of that in me. That's a huge part of who I am, and I don't want to give up that independence. If I could talk to my mom right now, when she was symptomatic with Huntington's disease, I would want to tell her to let people help her, to not push everyone away. You know, she basically put everyone at a distance from her, and everyone loved her. And I would want her to know that, you know, I love her, and will be here for her, whatever she needs.
Good evening. This is being recorded. Okay, I can tell by the needle rising. All right. Okay, Chris is here with me. I thought what we would do would be for both of us to talk together so you could get an idea about our conversations and what we're into. So, I'm just gonna play one song. Okay, this song he picked out himself and has learned it.
Oh, Dad, I'm going to play my song again. Here I go. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, that was Chris Furbee on the bells. Sometimes we get Chris Furbee on the trumpet. Sometimes we get Chris Furbee on the trumpet in my ear.
Oh, Dad, we're going to say goodbye now. See you, Dad. See you on Christmas or when you call or when you write a letter. Wherever. Bye.
Okay. This is Chris and Rosemary. We'll be really happy to see you on Christmas. Okay. Okay. We love you. And goodbye.
And so you have taken another good soul. But now it's my mother, I can't let her go. How could you have done this to my darling one? You've taken my mother, now you want her son.